Welcome back in here to KCTV5 Plus. Here's a live look out over your KCTV5 tower on your Thursday afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Katie Byrd. We are still tracking the aftermath of destructive storms across the Kansas City metro. More than 10,000 people are still without power because of Tuesday night storms in Kansas City, Kansas. The unified government addressed the community right at noon today as they work to get things back to normal. The damage is immense. Take a look at what the storms did to the Rosewell Church. The roof completely torn up, the entrance smashed, debris thrown across the aisle in between the pews. And on North 26th and Greenlee, a fallen tree crushed the roofs of 2 homes. But by morning, neighbors were already stepping in to help. Crews worked throughout the day yesterday to safely remove this massive tree here on your screen, and residents say they didn't have to ask twice for a helping hand.
You got people that's willing to get out and not even ask. They just come and start helping you, and you don't have to worry about, not knowing who you're dealing with in your neighborhood. You already know who they are. You know what they're going to do because you see it every day.
Now, Mayor Crystal Watson for Kansas City, Kansas, she actually took to social media saying that some people's damage costs are 50% of what their home is worth to simply repair them. And that lines up what our crews have seen in the past 36 hours, especially in the Quindaro neighborhood area. But the damage spans farther than that. Look at this. Out in the Piper area, backyards were completely torn apart. Trampolines tossed yards away, and at Piper Stadium, the storm tore apart a goalpost, and blew out part of the outfield wall on the baseball field. Pretty unbelievable stuff here. And the Red Cross is actually helping families in our area, so you can actually go to a shelter at the Earl Watson Community Center if you need somewhere to go. And that address is on your screen now. And again, you don't need identification to stay there. And taking it to other top headlines of the day, a downtown ballpark, a reimagined Hallmark headquarters at Crown Center, and for you, a $600 million price tag. Today, the Kansas City City Council will be voting on the lease and funding agreement for that new Royal Stadium. The state's share is expected to come through a sports investment bond program and tax credits. Money city leaders say that they are counting on, but they haven't fully locked it down just yet. Again, right now, all eyes are really on the lease itself, the fine print that spells out what Kansas City actually gets for its $600 million. And here is some of what is in that right here on your screen. The Royals would pay the city just $1 a year to lease the stadium, but in return, Kansas City would get 5% of the net profits from non-baseball events, like concerts. The Royals keep everything else, including game revenue, naming rights, and advertising. And the lease itself, it would run 30 years with room to extend. All of that's what will be debated today. The city owns the stadium, and the Royals pay for all the maintenance and upkeep. Tempers flared at the last meeting on this deal, so KCTV5 crews will be out there all day at the meeting to see how today's vote plays out. And Missouri voters, you will not get to vote on the state's new congressional map. That's at least for now. Here's what you need to know. A judge upheld the Secretary of State's decision to keep the map off the November ballot. Now, opponents are expected to appeal, which means the case could likely be on its way to the state Supreme Court. But here's the thing, the clock is ticking. A final decision has to be made before September 8th when ballots are printed. Here's what's at stake. The redrawn map divides Kansas City between the 4th, 5th, and 6th congressional districts, and that has been highly contested here in the Kansas City area. New lines favor Republicans in all three, making Democrat Emmanuel Cleaver's November re-election bid a bit more difficult. All right, guys, I want to take it next to Chiefs training camp. It's over at Missouri Western. The Chiefs wrapped up camp today with a very special tradition. It was Military Appreciation Day, thanking them for their service and thanking St. Joseph for hosting the team another year. With another training camp in the books, the team's looking ahead to the season. Can't believe it.
Yeah, look, I'll tell you, they worked. They worked hard, and I appreciated that. I thought we made progress. I mentioned before, I think it's the young guys that you're really looking at here. We have a number of them, and how they progressed and continue to progress will be a big part of this, how this team does. So.
And the Chiefs are actually getting ready to hit the road. They're taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this weekend in Florida. Kickoff is set for 6:30 on Saturday. Taking it next to Waldo. 3 businesses were broken into within hours of each other. In Kansas City, police say that no arrests have been made. Here is what you need to know. There's a lot, and I want to walk you through the timeline. So officers say they were called to Bromble and Stem.
I'll tell you, they worked.
410 East Gregory Boulevard, 9:05 a.m. And this was on Tuesday. And another couple more businesses that were impacted, so they were called to City Barrel. And then they were also called to Eclectics. This was all just overnight on Tuesday. Anyone with information about the incidents should report it to the TIPS hotline, 816-474-TIPS. And Missouri drivers, if you are hoping to press down on the gas pedal a little more, you're actually going to have to wait a little longer, as state transportation officials are deciding which rural highways are safe enough for a 75-mile-per-hour speed limit. So you may have heard of this new state law allowing MoDOT to increase rural highway speed limits to 75 miles per hour. This takes effect on August 28th. But MoDOT officials stress that no speed limits will change until they finish a comprehensive safety evaluation. You may be wondering what exactly goes into this evaluation. Well, I'll tell you. You have to look at curves, landscape of the route, road design, border state limits, and active construction. We have more on this right now on KCTV5.com. And taking it next to the Crossroads, a popular food hall is serving its last meals this weekend. Parlor will close Saturday night. They're citing fewer visitors and changes around the business. Now, 7 vendors and up to 30 employees say they learned about the closure this week, leaving workers scrambling for jobs.
How did they prioritize social media over telling the employees? Saving face for who? Like, you're going to need people to work for you later on if you do decide to go into business.
Yeah, now KCTV5 reached out to the company that owns Parlor. They have not yet responded to our questions. All right, guys, take a look at this. There's a new star stealing the show in Overland Park, and he's not even human. Before the spotlight, though, his story started somewhere less glamorous. Claire Decatur shows us how this all came together.
This is Rocky, the dog who is officially a theater star. But let's pause, because his story doesn't start here, playing Bruiser in Legally Blonde at the new theater and restaurant. It starts here on the streets of Kansas City just after Christmas, when a carpenter working on the show found a cold, shivering Yorkie. They did everything they could to find Rocky's original family, but when one door closes, another opens. Enter Austin, a swing tech who builds the sets and runs the show.
Had just closed on a house with a yard, so I was in the market for a dog, so I instantly took him in once we figured out he wasn't chipped or belonged to anybody.
Austin adopted him, bringing him from the streets to the stage. And it didn't take long for everyone to realize Rocky was born for the spotlight.
Like a month or two after I took him in, management asked me if I wanted Rocky to be Bruiser, and I said yes. No auditions required. They kind of just took one look at him and was like, that's our Bruiser.
You can catch Rocky at New Theater and Restaurant in Legally Blonde until September 6th. In Overland Park, Claire Decatur, KCTV5 News.
That smile he gave at the end. So happy he was able to turn his life around thanks to some generous people who stepped up to save his life. All right, guys, we're going to take it over to the KCTV5 tower. When we come back, we'll have more news headlines on your Thursday afternoon. Thanks for sticking with us here on KCTV 5 Plus. Want to take it to some national news headlines. In a social media post yesterday, President Donald Trump again threatened Iran. This time he promised, quote, the most crushing economic operation ever taken against any country. In a later post, he pledged to crack down on any country that allows its financial institutions, businesses, airports, or government entities to give Iran any type of lifeline. The president has halted all conversations with Iran, and his team told political allies he's settling into a war of economic attrition that he thinks will demolish Iran's economy and ultimately force its surrender. Again, this is an interesting development here as Iran's foreign minister dismissed Trump's threat. Writing on social media, quote, the so-called economic D-Day is a diversion from America's own crisis, unprecedented debt, and surging interest costs. We will continue to bring you the latest updates here on the conflict in the Middle East. And next up, Nolan Wells' loved ones are honoring him with a prayer rally in Biloxi, Mississippi tonight. It would have been his 19th birthday. Nolan's the black teenager who went missing and was later found dead following a boating trip with friends. This was to Mississippi's Horn Island on Independence Day. Now, people who are close to him are not only remembering him, but they're renewing calls for justice. Sherelle Hubbard has more.
More than 6 weeks after Nolan Wells' body was recovered, loved ones marked what would have been his 19th birthday with heartfelt messages, prayers, and a rally in Biloxi, Mississippi, about 5 miles from his hometown of Ocean Springs. Nolan went missing after he went to Horn Island on a July 4th boating trip with friends. His body was recovered 2 days later in the water near the island. 2 autopsies have not provided a definitive explanation of what caused his death. Authorities continue to investigate the teen's unexplained death, but have given no public indication that a crime occurred, dividing communities and fueling heartbreak and speculation.
God always reveals the truth.
Earlier Wednesday, his family shared a touching birthday letter they wrote saying, "You are our angel. You will be missed every second of every day, and you will never be forgotten, our sweet sunshine. Happy heavenly 19th birthday, No. Remember, don't eat too much Oreo cake and hug Grandma for us." In an online vigil Wednesday, they said they are thankful for the joy he brought them while he was alive and promised to protect his legacy.
Nolan was an incredible person. Just keep us in your prayers. Just keep sharing his story. Keep saying his name.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
Heartbreaking loss, unimaginable pain there. All right, guys, we're actually going to take it across the pond to France because tiny apartments, at the tops of some buildings in Paris were originally built centuries ago. But CNN's Sakaya Vadorn introduces us to residents who now call some cramped quarters their home. Take a listen in.
So yeah, the entrance here, that's the small, entrance area.
These are some of the smallest apartments you'll find in Paris. Some measure less than 100 square feet.
A private shower.
Wow, can you open both doors at the same time?
I've never tried, but I guess you could-ish.
They're called chambres de bonne, maids' rooms, hidden at the top of some of Paris's grandest buildings. Built for domestic servants, they were notoriously cold, with toilets often shared between tenants. As of 2022, there were still more than 90,000 of these tiny apartments across Paris.
The view from the rooftop is just amazing. Like, you see pretty much every big Parisian monument. My friends commented that, like, oh my gosh, you're gonna have a depression in like 1 month's time because it's so tiny, like it's a prison cell. And technically, I guess prison cells are bigger.
Anatoly is an engineering student who's called this place home for the past year. He pays about $800 a month in rent. Expensive by the square foot, but still cheaper than most Parisian apartments.
It's not a sacrifice, it's a trade-off. In engineering, you don't have good solutions, you only have trade-offs. So yeah.
What's the trade-off here?
The space for the location, pretty much.
And there's another price to pay for living in central Paris. Lots and lots of stairs.
You do this every day.
It's terrible.
Oh,
I know. It's a sport.
lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too.
I'm
Welcome.
gonna need a minute.
This is Gladys, and she lives right at the top on the 7th floor. Unlike in the 19th century, when the problem was the cold, today it's relentless heat waves, turning these tiny apartments into furnaces. With temperatures climbing above 40 degrees Celsius, that's more than 104 Fahrenheit.
I was also taking like ice during the night, all the ice next to me.
Like a pillow.
Yeah, exactly. That was terrible. And also I slept to my sister's house, so that was better, to my friend's house.
So you actually had to leave.
Yeah.
It's not just Parisians willing to squeeze into these tiny homes, tourists do it too, paying as much as $140 a night to stay in the heart of Paris. And whether they're here for a night or a year, perhaps this is part of what they're paying for.
Wow.
You can see the view.
Yes, and like the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, the Eiffel Tower.
Saskia Van Doorn, CNN, Paris.
All right, I want to take it next to some health headlines. You're going to want to hear this one. COVID's making a summer comeback, even before the traditional respiratory virus season begins. CDC data shows the national COVID test positivity rate topped 3% for the first time since March, with numbers rising in every single state. Experts say the South and West are leading this current wave, and flu and RSV activity do remain low. And COVID hospitalizations, and deaths are also low. But experts predict cases will keep climbing as summer travel continues, schools reopen, and here's the key: immunity from previous vaccination or infection wanes. Now, health experts recommend testing if you develop symptoms and staying home when you're sick. Definitely two very important things to keep in mind. In more health news, a new study on HIV stigma highlights a growing visibility gap. GLAAD reports that 72% of Americans say they have not seen stories about people living with HIV in the media in the past year. That's up from 66% in 2024. The group found only one LGBTQ character living with the virus appeared during the 2024 to 2025 television season, and on the big screen, only one out of 225 major studio films analyzed and featured a character living with HIV. Now, GLAAD says this storytelling is important because it can reduce stigma and increase one's understanding, bottom line. So the report was created in partnership with Gilead Sciences. All right, we got to talk about processed foods next. It's something most of us eat sometime throughout the week, maybe even every day. It's any item that's altered from its natural state while being prepared, cooked, frozen, or packaged. And these foods, we know, especially in the United States, they're more convenient and easier, and oftentimes they last longer in your freezer. Experts say, though, they're also packed with extra sugar and unhealthy fats. So in today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither talks to a dietitian about some whole food swaps that are easy for your lifestyle.
It's no secret those pre-packaged, ultra-processed foods taste good, but eating too many of them is not good for your body.
Those foods are very addicting, all that sugar and healthy and unhealthy fat and carbs light up your brain.
Julia Zumpano with Cleveland Clinic says that's why people love them, but eating a variety of foods is critical. She says to start by slowly swapping out one processed food for one whole food so it doesn't feel as daunting. In the morning, try substituting something else for cereal.
Maybe you do an overnight oat that you try to make the night before, or you do a whole grain toast with avocado instead of a breakfast cereal, or some Greek yogurt with berries and topped with some nuts.
For lunch, try swapping out pre-packaged deli meat. Zumpano says to buy a whole chicken instead, roast it and cut it up so it's ready for the week. You can also try canned meat like tuna. To avoid loaves of bread loaded with not so healthy ingredients, she says to try making your own at home or simply read ingredients at the store and go for less processed breads with better ingredients. Finally, Zumpano suggests making dessert at home. Healthier swaps could include ingredients like whole grain flour, a healthier oil, applesauce instead of butter, or adding something like ground flaxseed, which is packed with nutrients.
There's so many swaps that you can make in baked goods, so many things you could sneak in.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Yeah, pretty fascinating report there. And looks like there could be some pretty easy swaps in your everyday life that don't take hours and hours on end, because we know nobody wants to spend that much cooking with a busy schedule. All right, guys, we're going to take it over to a quick break. When we come back, we have got some headlines, entertainment, and consumer news. Specifically, you won't want to miss it today. We'll be back here soon. Thanks for sticking with us here on KCTV 5 Plus. Want to take it next to some consumer news. Walmart says some of its almost $3 billion worth of tariff funds will go toward price cuts. The retailer says that money will also go to supporting investments that affect the customer experience. This stems from a February Supreme Court ruling declaring most of President Donald Trump's duties were illegal. In total, the government is working to refund about $168 billion to about 330,000 retailers. In total, the Walmart says it has already received most of the money. Costco and 2 other retailers face lawsuits from shoppers who say the tariff refunds should go to them. Economists say duties often push up the prices American consumers have to pay. Taking it next to the books. Did you know 15 colleges across the country now have a sticker price of over $100,000 per year? Pretty crazy, right? So that's according to data analyzed by the Princeton Review. They considered tuition along with room and board, books, and other expenses. Harvey Mudd College topped the list at nearly $105,000 each year. Duke, University of Chicago, University of Southern California round out the top 4. Now, despite these high costs, many students do not pay full price through discount scholarships and, of course, taking out those loans. Now, Harvard and the University of Pennsylvania are tuition free for students with incomes less than $200,000 a year, and that's family incomes. That's pretty helpful stuff if you ask me. I mean, nobody wants to have these student loans for years and years on end. All right, guys, it's time to start thinking about a different kind of travel. Of course, end of summer travel typically dominates the conversation this time of year, but experts say consumers should also think of the end of year holidays. Karen Kaifa is in Washington with the details and has a new timeline for snagging the best fares of the season.
Experts say this year's holiday travel landscape is shaping up different than last year's.
Last year at this time, I had really good news for consumers, which was airfare was down. This year, it's completely the opposite story.
Clint Henderson, managing editor for travel website The Points Guy, says their fare tracking already shows holiday fares climbing.
Right now, we're seeing prices up anywhere between 13 and 18% for holiday flights. I think that could spike to 30% or even more if people wait too long.
Airfares are up more than 25% over last year, according to the latest government inflation data. The Iran war has pushed oil prices higher, and airlines are shelling out more for jet fuel costs. But PointsPath founder and CEO Julian Keel says flyers are playing a part too.
People still want to travel. Even as prices go higher, demand is not decreasing. That means airlines can keep those prices high, especially at key holiday time.
For November and December flights this year, Henderson says the booking timeline has changed.
Usually you have till almost Halloween in many cases to get the best deals. This year, we're throwing that playbook out the window. We're telling people, go ahead and book your holiday flights now.
Keel also says lock in fares now if possible, but keep up the search.
Most airfares today, aside from basic economy, can be canceled or changed without a penalty. So go ahead, find a fare that works for you for the holidays, lock it in, but keep looking. Use some of those technology tools available. If you find a lower price, cancel your other flight, lock in the new price.
In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
All right, I want to hear your thoughts. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, comment if you think it's too early to start planning for Thanksgiving or even Christmas and New Year's. I know, sounds crazy. Am I right? All right, guys, we've got some more headlines. This is a man Kansas City knows very well. Jason Kelce sings and asks for urine donations in a new video. That's right. This is a collaboration between the company he co-owns with his brother, Garage Beer and Liquid Death. Oh my goodness. In it, Kelce points out data centers need millions of gallons of water a day for cooling. He asks viewers to donate their urine to help. It also features Liquid Death's mascot, Murder Man, and a crowd of backup singers. You know, this sounds a very Jason Kelce, if you ask me. Next up here, taking it across the pond because apparently the late author Thomas Wolfe was wrong. You can go home again. After spending 6 years in the United States, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are heading back across the pond. John Lawrence reports.
Prince Harry and Meghan are reportedly planning to return to a private residence outside of London later this month. Their children, 7-year-old Prince Archie and 5-year-old Princess Lilibet, are enrolled for classes in Britain this upcoming term, according to the British newspaper The Telegraph.
He did talk about how brilliant the schools were in Britain. He also talked about, he thought that the sense of community was really important.
The couple fled from the United Kingdom to the U.S. in 2020 when they stepped back from the responsibilities linked to the crown.
He won't be returning to his royal role, even if he wanted to. The King has made it very clear, and I'm sure that Prince William has made it even clearer, that isn't an option.
King Charles was made aware of the situation on Sunday. Insiders say the King's cancer diagnosis may have led the Sussexes to come back.
When they were at Highgrove, face to face, close up, I firmly believe that Harry saw changes in his father, and that helped kind of move the dial.
While the king is reportedly happy that he'll be able to spend more time with his family, there still may be tensions between Harry and his elder brother.
I think in William's head, he's just now set on the idea that it's him and Kate and the 3 kids that are now the future of the monarchy, and Harry has no part in that.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
All right, taking it next out of this world for some more international headlines, I should say, because NASA is calling off a rescue mission for a nearly 22-year-old space observatory. The Neil Gehrels Swift Observatory will likely re-enter Earth's atmosphere and burn up later this year. It's a satellite that recently launched to boost the orbit of the falling observatory. This was forced to abandon the rescue due to ongoing control issues. For more than 2 decades, the Swift Observatory has tracked celestial objects and cosmic events in low Earth orbit. Pretty fascinating stuff. It always blows my mind whenever things like these re-enter the Earth, but then burn up before they even make it to the ground. Well, next up, we got to take it to your Hollywood Minute. Often, movie fans just can't wait for a new film to come out, and occasionally, they don't have to. David Daniel explains it all today.
We're about to be short on time.
Someone jumped the gun on the new Jason Statham movie. Mutiny is due out in theaters Friday, but according to The Verge, the entire film was briefly available to stream Wednesday on Amazon's Prime Video service. It's unclear why the movie was on Amazon's servers. The film's distributor, Lionsgate, has no direct connection with Amazon.
I was like, hell yeah!
David Krumholtz says he's taking an indefinite break from acting. He wrote on social media, even a successful career like his includes a mountain of disappointments, and he needs some time away, adding he's grateful to all who support and believe in me. Krumholtz, who's 48, has appeared in more than 140 films and TV shows.
Growing up, I watched my father being called boy. I ordained myself Mr. T. So the first word out of everybody's mouth would be Mr. That's a sign of respect my father didn't get.
Mr. T, I Pity the Fool follows the origin story of a unique entertainment icon. Part of the Untold sports documentary series, Mr. T, I Pity the Fool debuts September 8th on Netflix. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
All right, we've got some shocking footage coming up. A bear crashed a college move-in day, and dog lovers show off their dream job. And a contestant that both stinks and stings, Patrick Cornell, has it all in today's Take a Look at This.
This is what they call a Colorado welcome to college.
Hey, there's a bear outside.
The little campus invaders showed up for move-in day at Colorado State University, hanging around the dorms, giving CSU Rams something to gawk at.
We're really near the nature and stuff, which I love a lot.
Which is certainly more exciting than lugging a futon up 14,000 flights of stairs.
I didn't expect to see a bear at all.
Colorado Parks and Wildlife showed up, tranquilized the animal, and relocated it back into the wild. All aboard the Pup Bus, where Kim and Brenda Schrader spend their days driving around West Fargo, North Dakota, picking up eager pooches and taking them to the park.
We love it. It's our retirement gig. We really love it.
A gig they decided to do after losing their own dog, River.
And we were thinking of getting another dog, and then we sat down and we thought, well, let's do something for all dogs. So then we put the bus together.
Now they're putting doggone big smiles on puppy and people faces. Dream job? You better believe it.
And this one we just do because we love it.
Finally, at the Iowa State Fair, they're throwing all sorts of crap. That's a pun and the point of this story. Contestants chuck cow chips to see who can get the furthest distance. This year, the winning throw went 77 feet, but KCCI anchor Eric Hansen says an unbelievable incident killed his buzz, costing him a shot at glory.
It's a conspiracy. As I was walking up, one of the PBS guys shook my hand and stung me with a bee right there, my cow chip throwing hand. As a result, I lost by 2 feet to a PBS guy.
We look forward to Eric getting his revenge in the 2027 edition. For Take a Look at This, I'm Patrick Cornell.
Gosh, what would you do if a bear crashed your college move-in day? Pretty crazy stuff. All right, guys. Weather, well, it's still a story up until this weekend, but we don't have as extreme storms pending like we did a couple of nights ago. Gonna take it over to meteorologist Warren Sears for a closer look at your forecast right after this break.